Well, hello everybody, it's Shawn Petitie and I am so glad to be part of this Mixed Media Mania YouTube hop. I'm so glad that you're here. There are some amazing artists part of this hop and I hope that you watch all of them because I know you're going to be inspired. And some amazing sponsors. This is the best ever. I mean, better than the last YouTube hop that we did. And I am one of the sponsors, so you'll get a chance to win some stencils and all kinds of goodness. So this is the project that we're making today. Lots of texture, lots of yummy, yummy goodness. And so I am starting out with a 10 by 10 MDF board. And I am using DecoArt Media's matte medium, and I'm putting some vintage papers down, some scraps, some different things, and just kind of laying out my papers to be the background for all of this goodness. And I love when the papers show through at just the right moment to create this magic, I call it, that peeks through all of the lovely textures that we're going to put on top of it. The matte medium seals it and prepares it, gives it a little bit of tooth to get us ready for all of those layers. Now I'm doing what I call my pressed paper technique, where I'm just brushing on some gesso and flattening that out over my substrate there with all of my papers. That piece of paper did not want to stick, but that's it was not meant to be. And I'm just pressing down and it gives it this really faded, chalky, grungy rubbed, and it adds the texture too. That gesso, when you press it down, adds this wonderful bit of texture, and I'm all about the texture. Plus it's pushing back that first layer. So now I just want to start building up my color, and I'm using Golden's high flow acrylics. And using a high flow acrylic is super easy, and the way that it flows, it catches in all of the grooves of that gesso that we just put down and the papers. And using it without a brush, not having tools in your hand, but just using the water, it gives you a very ethereal and unexpected feel that would lend itself to being vintage, where it's weathered and been out in the rain, and I just love that. I'm using sepia here and yellow oxide, and I love that vintage color. I added a tiny bit of alcohol to kind of push some space back, and now I'm just dabbing with my finger that sepia to give it kind of that tea dye look. Now I am using something for the very first time. I am using Thermoweb's foil and their mixed media adhesive, or mixed media medium. It acts as an adhesive for the foil. So this is the very first time that I'm doing it. It just shows you how easy it is. There are a couple mistakes that I made, and I'll share. I put my medium on a little too heavy this go round, and I'll show you. I lightened it up a little bit, but you wait for it to dry and get tacky, and that's really hard for me to do. I'm very impatient. And so it took me a little bit of time. As it dried, it got so wonderful, so satisfying. But you just lay those foil sheets over that tacky medium, and it is like magic. It just pulls up that wonderful sparkle and shine and gets in that stencil design. I cannot wait to use this again. This was so much fun. Thermoweb is one of the sponsors for the YouTube hop, so check them out. But this was so much fun. I just played and played and played, and it's so hard for you to see the yummy goodness. I'm using the gold, and it was called patina foil, and I went back and forth because I wanted it to be real inconsistent and kind of grungy. So good. So I did all of my areas, and it just turned out wonderful. Now I'm using DecoArt Media's gesso and their fluid acrylics, and I'm mixing up this. I'm mixing it up because, one, I want it to be a mix of color, and two, I want my fluid acrylics to have a little bit more body so I can stencil well with it. And I'm just mixing the right color here. I'm using my Garden 2 stencil, getting just an idea of shape for that wreath in the middle. And I'm just kind of building my layers up here with my stencil and putting down the background. And I will mix up English red oxide and sap green and burnt umber for my leaves, just to give it that. And I wanted to go for a real fall. Seasons are changing and I was ready, and so that's why I went kind of fall and real earthy with this piece. Just adding my second layer of branches. I hope you get a chance to check out all of the artists, all of the sponsors. The prizes, you guys, are simply amazing. Simply amazing. I just can't believe it. So check all of those out, and all of the descriptions are going to be below in the description box, as well as a link to the next artist, and there'll be a link at the end of the video. So I'm just still continuing to build layers, and all I did here was just build my layers with my stenciling, and then I added a few swishes and swooshes as like branches or vines. And once that was dry, I came back in with that Thermoweb adhesive medium, and I'm adding just a touch on those leaves and branches and swooshes. And I want to get my foil on there to give it some shine. And this layer was much lighter. It was so easy, so easy. So I'm just repeating this process again. And I'm going to show you at the end of the video, I'm going to try and give you some angles so you can see the shine. It's really hard to see right now, but it is simply amazing. I can't wait to try it again. I want to take a second to thank all of the sponsors for our YouTube Hop. Really, really generous gifts all the way around. Just playing and really working in my foil sheets here to get in all of my spots. It was hard to see once it dried. And now we're adding the oomph. We're taking it from flat to fabulous. We're going to add some shading, some definition. I'm going to trace around the branches. I'm going to add some extra lines and marks and scratches and leaves with my charcoal pencil. And I wanted some more plum and earth and kind of that rich jewel tone to kind of represent fall and the seasons changing. So I went to my pan pastels, and if you've never used pan pastels, they are so fun, and the color selection is amazing. There's even sparkly ones. But I'm adding just a little bit of shading in that deep plum, and then some of the magenta all the way around that wreath, and then going back in and doing my final touches with my charcoal pencil. Make sure that you seal your piece with a fixative. I use Spectrafix to use my to seal my piece especially when I'm using charcoal and pan pastels and things like that. And I'll show you that in just a second. And I just simply printed out some words from the computer. Grateful, thankful, blessed, and that's how I feel. And I love this time of year, this season, as it's changing. And put those down with some DecoArt matte medium using a black Senlayer chalk pastel to age the edges, shade the edges, and then I'll use my charcoal pencil again to shade. And that's pretty much it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope that you watch all of the artists. They're just phenomenal, simply phenomenal. And here you can see that I'm trying to show you some of that fantastic, yummy gold and patina Oh, it's so good. So, so good. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. And you can check out my YouTube channel for other videos. I post one every week. Give me a subscribe. Make sure to subscribe and comment to get a chance to win one or all some of the prizes in the YouTube Hop. That's all it takes to get a chance to win. Comment and subscribe. Check out my workshops and other fun things I have on my website, ShawnPetitie.com. Thank you so much, my friends, for being here, and I will talk to you soon.